Hello guys, this is Deep Narayan Singh. I am with you with one more category of questions that is being asked in your final board paper for 12th class computer science. And here we are going to discuss a question category that is going to come in your part C of final question paper, programming based question. These questions are asked from string, list, tuple, and dictionary. So the underlying concepts are from there, and you need to write some code to solve a problem, and that is a 3-mark question. Very important. So we have already discussed other 3-mark questions like stack based question or the question coming from text file handling. This is the third major category from where every time you get a question. So we are going to discuss this particular category, and after listening these videos, I hope you will feel greater confidence while dealing such type of questions. So let us move to our first question, and what it says we are going to see. This is our first question. Find the minimum and maximum of the list element. So our job is, we have given with a list and we need to find minimum and maximum. So if we have a list like 20, 40, 10, 30. So what is our minimum element here? Minimum element is 10 and maximum element is 40. So this is the sum or the problem that we are going to solve through programming. So what we can do, the first and foremost solution looks like, if we anyhow sort this particular list, what will happen in ascending order? It will look like 10, 20, 30 and 40. And what will happen then? The smallest element you are going to get at index 0 and highest element you are going to get at last index, and we know the last index is what? Length minus 1. So this is what we are going to get. The same principle we are going to apply because we have a function which is defined on list, that is called sort function. Okay, SORT, sort function, which is going to sort the list for us. Let us write the code. So first we are going to read the list from the user. Input function, I hope you all are familiar with, which is used to take input from the keyboard, and this eval function is going to convert that input based on the value in that particular type. So if you enter a list, this particular variable will become list type. If you enter a tuple, this particular variable will become tuple type. So we have used this eval function here, which automatically converts the type of this variable to the value it is holding. Otherwise, what is the return type of input function? By default, it is string. So if you do not use this eval function, what is going to happen? You are going to get that list in the form of string in this lst variable. To avoid that problem, we have used this eval function. You can also utilize here list constructor, list, which is defined, and that list constructor can also be used. Inside that list constructor, what you will do? You will write that input function. So write the next statement. We are concerned, or we are uh, eager to know the length of the list because we want the last index. So we are going to read the length. Okay, and next is what? We are going to sort the list also. So this list is going to be sorted. Now we know at index 0 and index 1, minus 1 is the last index. Otherwise, what I can use? L minus 1. That is also going to point to the last index. Let me erase this part. So in this way, we will get minimum and maximum element from the list. I hope you people will get it. What I can write here? We can also write here L minus 1. That is the last index of a list. L minus 1. Next question we will see. The next question is program to search an element from the list. Okay, so we know how to iterate over a list element, because on any list we can iterate in two ways. Let us take the same example of the list as above: 20, 40, 10 and 30. there are two ways to iterate over any list using the indexes like 0, 1, 2, 3. So these are the forward indexes. If I am iterating over the indexes, what I can do, I can just utilize the range function like for I in range, and this range function, from where we will start from 0. That is by default starting of the list. If we do not supply any start value to the range function, it will take what 0 as start. And what is the stop? Stop is what? Length of the list, length of the list. As our index go one less than the stop value, so find len of, if it is stored inside lst variable, then we will write len of lst. Okay, fine. So that's it. And then we are going to use here what? Lst is the variable. Then we can print or whatever I want to do in that. This is the iteration over a list by its indexes. So here what I write? Lst of I. And this will give me one value by one value, because I value will vary from this range function is going to generate what? What is the length? Length is 4. So this will look like range, okay, range of 4. In turn, it will give the values 0, 1, 2, 3, okay, and that is the value which our loop variable I will assume 0, 1, 2 and 3, like that. So let us see the solution of this one. We are going to read the list from the user, and eval function is used to convert that input to the list type. Okay, fine. I am going to erase this content. Next line is what? We are going to read the element to be searched. So that is also as per the eval, because we don't know what type user is going to enter. Okay, so for that purpose, eval function is very helpful in that scenario. Next is what? We are going to iterate over the list element by element. We are not using here what? Indexes. After iteration, now our job is to compare that the element x is equal to e or not. If it is equal to e, we found the element and we are going to display success, otherwise no. So let us see, if e equal to x, we are going to print success, else we are going to print element not present in the list. Remember, this else is not part of this for if. This is a part of for. So you should write that else from here, else, because we can use the else statement with for loop. I am going to write it in a cleaner form. Let me erase this content here. Okay, fine. Let me change the color of my pen. It should be written here, else, and when that else statement will execute, if your loop terminates automatically, not through the break statement. So we are not executing break anywhere. This loop is going to be terminated automatically when our list exhausts. So then else will execute. If somewhere we are going to get this particular situation, then we will print success, and what we will do, we will break it there itself. Otherwise, if this element is not going to be present in the list, so this particular condition will never be satisfied, and we are going to come to the else part, or control will come to the else part, and element not present will in the list will be printed. So how this is going to work? First, this for loop will run for all the iteration. Wherever it finds e equal to x, element found, and we are going to break. If this never satisfies, the loop will be over and it will come to the else part, and in else part it will print element not present in the list. So this is how it is going to work. Remember, else can be used with for statement, else, and with while also. So with while also you can use the else statement, but when it is executed, when your loop terminates automatically, not through the break statement. Moving ahead to the next question, let us see, write a program to display the sum of even and odd numbers separately from the list. Now our job is to check out if it is even number, then add in some variable, and if it is a odd number, then add in another variable. At the end of the list, what you are going to do? Display those even sum differently and odd sum differently. So let us read the list from the user. Declare two variable like even sum and odd sum. So here we have two variable, even sum and odd sum. Now iterate over the list element by element and check it. If it is even, then add that element inside even sum variable. Okay, even sum equal to even sum plus e. Okay, otherwise else if it is not even, that must be odd. So we are going to add it inside the other variable, that is odd sum. Fine. Once our loop will be over, then we will have the sum of even numbers in the variable called even sum and sum of odd numbers in the variable called odd sum, and then we are going to display both. So that's it for this particular question. I hope you got it. Go to the question number 4, which says swap the adjacent element of the list. So if I have a list like this, again we will take the same example: 20, 10, 40 and 30. Our job is to swap the adjacent. Adjacent means the element which are side by side to each other. So how does we are going to do this? First we are going to read the list from the user. Next calculate the length of it. Next we are going to check our list length is even or odd. Why it is important? Because if it is even, we are able to make pairs and we are comfortably able to exchange those elements. If the length is odd, like 20, 10, 40, 30 and 50, so what will happen in that case? We will make the pair of these two, for adjacency, but the problem is with this last element, because the length is odd, so we have to leave it as it is. For that purpose we need to check if the length is even or odd. So if it is even, no issue, we are not going to do anything. But if it is odd, reduce the length of the list by 1. So now we are working on this range. Okay, so whenever we have the odd length, we are going to reduce the length by 1 to make that number even, and we will leave the last element as it is. Once we have set the area where we want to work, the indexes length where we want to work, we are going to iterate through indexes of that on that list. So we are going to use a loop variable I in range 0 to L minus 1, because what is the stop index or last index? Last index is going to be stop index for us, but we want to stay one less than that, because we are going to swap these two, so we will go one less than that. So for that purpose we are not going to up to stop or last index, we are going to one less than that. So we have taken here L minus 1. Remember that this is very important, otherwise index out of range error you will get. If you put L here rather than L minus 1, which is the length of the list, then you are going to get index out of range, because for the last iteration, as soon as you take the step of 2, you will go out of the index, and out of index error is going to be generated by the range function. I hope it is clear why I have taken L minus 1. Remember, this L minus 1 is different. If it is odd, first we will subtract 1 and then again we will subtract 1. But this subtraction will remain as it is for all length. Like if length of your list is even, then also you will get L minus 1 here. Okay, you are going to go one less than the last index or last stop, or if it is odd, then also you are going to go one less than the last, two less than the last. In case of odd, where up to where you will go? Up to 40. Okay, for the odd values, like for odd values you will go up to here only, or for even up to here. So where this element will be adjusted in this particular part, where you are reducing odd length by 1. So here what is the value of L? It will be 5. Here what is the value of L? It will be 4. So if it is 4, then you are going to up to 3 only. Okay, L minus 1 up to 3. But if it is 5, then you are going to subtract 1 here in this else part because it is odd. Okay, so it will be minus 1, then it is going to be 4, and again you are reducing it by 1 because you want to go up to this part only, up to here, so that for the step purpose you will have one element more in the list which will be swapped with the previous element. Let us see. Then we have taken a temporary variable where we have stored the value of I plus 1. So if your I is 0, okay, so I plus 1 will be what? 1. I plus 1 is what? 1. If it is 0, then I plus 1 is going to 1. So for the first iteration, this is going to take this 10 and store inside the temp variable. Why this take this list I plus 1 we have done? Because we want to swap this element by this element. Now we will write this 20 at the place of 10, and then we will write 10 at the place of 20. So that is going to be, we have taken a temp variable where I plus 1 has been stored, and then on I plus 1 we have stored I. So at I plus 1, that is 10, we are going to store what? I, that is what? 20. List of I. List of I will have value at index 0 is what? 20. And then we are going to store list of I is equal to temp. So list of I is equal to temp. So what is list of I? 20. We will remove it. And what will be stored here? Temp. What is the temp value? 10. 10 will be written here. Temp will hold what? 10. So this is for one iteration. Same thing will happen for second. Why? Because we are taking a step of 2. So now this, when I take a step of 2, now I will become, for the next iteration, this is iteration 1. In next iteration, iteration 2, what will be the I value? We will take a step of 2, that will become 2. So I plus 1 will be what? 3. And we are working on this particular part. This is 2, this is 3 index, because 0, 1, 2, 3. If you can follow me. So LST of 2 will be what? LST of 2 will be 40 and LST of 3 will be 30. So again the same procedure will happen. I is 2. So 2 plus 1, 3. What is at index 3? 30 will be stored inside temp. So temp will hold for second iteration what value temp will hold, and we are solving this question for this odd index. Temp will hold what? 30 it will hold. Okay. Then list I plus 1 will be wrote with list of I. So list I plus 1 what? 30 will be wrote with uh, list of I, that is 2. So list of 2 is what? 40. 40 will be written here. Now next is what? List of I will be wrote with the temp. What is the temp value? Temp value is 30. So 30 will be stored here. I hope you understood now how these adjacent elements are swapped between each other. And next is after swap we are going to print the list. So that is the solution for this particular question. Next is write a function index list where L is the list of element passed as an argument to the function, and the function returns another list named index list that store indices of all non-zero element of L. So what indexes will be stored in this? Let us write this particular list here, that is 12, 4, 0, 11, 0, 56. So indexes will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the question is asking, you will create a new list which will hold the indexes of non-zero element. So here what is? It is non-zero, it is also non-zero, it is non-zero, it is non-zero. So it will hold like 0, 1, 3 and 5. Fine. So this is what I want in the output. Let us read the list from the user. Define a function def index list. We will pass that list in the argument. From where this header will come? Header will be declared here. So header will come from there. Next is what? Index list. Inside index list we have created a new list which will hold the indexes okay, that are of non-zero element. Next is what? Next we are going to run a for loop, and by indexes we are going to iterate over the list passed in the argument. So here we are going to see that element is 0 or non-zero. So how should we write the condition? We are going to check if L of I not equal to 0, then we are going to append that I inside the index list. So index list, okay, dot the function we will use append, inside that we will pass what? I. So this is what we have checked inside if. Then we are going to append the I value to the index list which we have created, a list for indexes of the element which are non-zero. And when this loop will be over, all the indexes of non-zero element will be stored inside this variable called index list. And then we are going to return this from this function. So this particular function is going to return all a list containing all the indices of the elements which are non-zero. I hope you got that. Next question. Write a function Lshift which takes two arguments like ARR or N. So what is an array? ARR in Python. So if your list contains similar data type objects inside it, then it is called what? Array. So you can see here in this list all are integer. That's why we are calling it as an array. So array is nothing but a list where all the elements are of same type. They all are integers. In Python, which accepts the list of ARR of numbers, and N is the numeric value by which all elements of the list are shifted to left. So N is 2 for that case. So these two elements should be shifted left and they will be stored on these two positions. That will be vacant when you shift all other elements to the left side. So first job is to read the list, define the function def lshift arr and n, and then we are going to calculate the length of it. We will iterate over the list, and from where this n will come? This n will come from here. How many element you want to left shift? So we will store the first element from that at index 0 inside some temporary variable. So y will hold now what? Y will hold 10. Now once we have done this, now our job is to move these all element to one position left. So I will write here the list is itself like 10, 20, 30, 40 and 12, 11. So this is our original list. For now, what we have done, we have taken this 10 inside a temporary variable. Now our job is to shift all those elements one position by left. Okay, fine. We will use one more loop to shift these by one position to left. How come can we do it? We are going to run the loop from 0 to n minus length minus 1 and shift those elements one position to left. Okay, like that. And at last index, what I will do? At last index, I will put this value 10. Okay, so now the list will look like something 20, 30, 40, 12, 11 and 10. So let us run the for loop, and for loop range will start from 0 to length minus 1, and we are going to shift all those elements to left. So like ARR of I will be replaced with ARR of I plus 1. So whatever is at index I will be overwritten by index I plus 1. So 10 will be overwritten by 20, at 0 will be overwritten by index 1. So what is at index 1? 2, and that will be overwritten on 10. ARR of I equal to ARR of I plus 1. Next is what? Once we have done all this, so what will happen? All elements are shifted one position left, and this position at the end we are going to add 10. So how will we write that? ARR, that is our list name. L minus 1 is the last position, length minus 1 will be the last index, and we will be storing here what? Y, which we have taken in starting. Next time when this will be over, it will again go to the loop, and here n value is 2, so it will run for 0 and 1. So for next time, what will happen? For next time, you are going to get this particular value, okay, from here 20. So how 20 will come in y now? Because at index 0, now what is present? 20 is present at index 0. 10 has been already shifted to the last index. So now y will have what? 20. Again it will go for the inner loop. Inner loop will do what? Inner loop will shift 30, okay, then 40, then 12, 11, 10, and what will happen at last index? At last index L minus 1, y will be replaced. So what is the value of y? 20. 20 will be replaced here. So up to that, this value is okay. This particular instruction is executed. It will again go for the loop, and now these two values are exhausted, and it will come out of this loop also. That's it, our job is done, and we are going to print the final result, what is available inside the list. So in this way, we have left shifted the element of the list by 2 position, and if you supply any other value of n, then this code is going to do the same for that value also. Going to question number 7. Here write the functions in Python named swap half list. So they are going to swap the half list, okay, but when to swap? Accept a list of array of numbers and swap the element of first half of the list with second half only if the sum of first half is greater than second half. So first job is to get sum of first half, okay, then sum of second half, compare both. If sum of first half is greater than sum of the second half, then only we are going to swap these list, okay, fine. For that purpose, write the code. We are going to write the definition of the function def swap half list array, and then we are going to check that list is how many elements are there in list, and take 2 variable for storing sum of first half and second half. Length we have calculated and taken 2 variable. This is called multiple assignment, where values are assigned to both the variables. Next is what? For I in range 0 to L, this is called flow division. What it is called? Flow division. Why? Because if it has the odd length, then a number will come in points, but flow division will give or always the integer part of the quotient. So if your list length is like 5 flow divided by 2, this particular operator will give result as 2 only, because it will not give the quotient part. Actually what will happen, if you divide it by 2, it will go 4 times, 1 is the remainder. You will put point here and draw a 0, then 10. But what this particular flow division is going to do, it is going to take only this particular part, integer part of it. So the result will be 2 only. So like that, it is going to help in case our list length is odd. So if length is odd, we are not able to completely divide that list. Okay, fine. So we have overcome this particular problem. We have taken a variable, loop variable I, and then we are going to say, okay, this is our first half, 0 to length by 2, and we are going to calculate the sum of first half. We have added all the elements inside the variable called first half, fh. Next loop is going to do what? Next loop is going to calculate the sum of second half. Okay, fine. Next loop is going to calculate the sum of second half. We have calculated the sum of second half. Now our job is to compare these two. If first half is greater than second half, then swap first half with the second half. Okay, so we have taken a variable j equal to 1, And here what we are doing, again looping through the list, and we are starting J. So what we have done here, we have just array of I. So whatever the value of I, first it will have 0. Okay, then ARR of J. So what ARR of J will have, it will have start from 1. So 1 will have 200. Okay, what 1 will have, 1 will have, oh, so not 1, sorry, this is what L, not 1, due to tick it is this problem has been created. L is pointing to where? L is the last index, as you can see L is the length. Fine. So what is at ARR of J? At last index is stored with the first index value. Last index is stored with the first index value. Okay, fine. And next ARR of J will be stored with ARR of I, and ARR of I stored with ARR of J. So last element will go to the first, and first element will go to the last. Okay, next is we are going to increment J by 1. I hope that should start from half, because J will point here, I will point here, and the value at J will be placed at value of I, and value of I will be placed at value of J. So this 140 is going to be swapped between each other. This is how it is going to happen. So this particular statement can be written in the way that ARR of I is going to be stored with ARR of J. So what J will be? J will be starting from the first half of the list, and next is what? ARR of J is going to stored with ARR of I. Okay, fine. This is what is going to happen in that particular case. So first, which one will be updated? Okay, for that we should take temporary variable for swapping purpose at two places. So we can take a temp variable in starting, where we will store temp equal to ARR of I. So ARR of I value will be saved inside temp, and then ARR of J will be updated, and here what I will write? Temp. So like that, swap code. This is the swap code for swapping two variables, but in Python you can write it in a single line also in this particular fashion. So then this loop will be over. After that you are going to print the array, and inside main this is the function call that you can write or may not write, but in this particular way this question is being solved. I hope you are getting what I am explaining. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. So that's it in this video. We will come up with second part of this particular category of questions. Remember, for that particular category you have to revise all the concept of stacks, arrays, list, or strings, and dictionary, tuple, because these are the underlying structures that are going to be used in this particular category of questions. Thank you. Have a nice day. Please do like, share, and subscribe this channel if it is helping in your studies.